Well, summer is just around the corner, and of course, many people do enjoy the warm weather, but as always, it's important to keep yourself and your family safe during those high temperatures. And joining us now by phone is Progressive Agriculture Foundation Program Specialist Bernard Geschke. Well, Bernard, thank you for taking the time to chat. As we said, we're getting ready to start that outdoor season, camping, recreation activities. What are some of the things folks need to keep in mind?
Oh, well, thank you for the invite here, Janet. But yes, as we get ready to fire up the grills this weekend on family gatherings and stuff, there are some things we need to consider. And if you're out there grilling, maybe in your backyard or at campsites, you got to keep in mind that keeping that grill stable, keeping it clean, and keeping it away from other structures. And if you're using a propane grill, you also got to make sure that you check for the leaks here. So campfires again are a situation where a lot of times when we're camping out, we got to make sure we also have a fire extinguisher nearby or a garden hose, that type of thing, because sometimes a grass fire could start. Some of our worst fires have been started by campsites. So all of those are things that you want to consider when you're camping out there. And keep in mind the kids are always curious, what's going on around the grill. And one thing we teach the kids at Progressive Agriculture Safety Days is to stay away from the grill. It's not a toy. The last thing we want to do is take a child to the hospital due to some severe burns. So the grills and campfires are a big concern. And if we got a party, we always have food there. So food safety is also an important thing to keep in mind at picnics and gathering. And the old saying, keep cold food cold and hot food hot, is important because if you got perishable food and it sits out for longer than 2 hours, that's actually considered unsafe to eat. So those are things to consider when you're out there camping.
Now, Bernard, of course, hot temperatures often means that folks are around water, and certainly a big attraction for kids. What about those safety measures?
Well, the thing is, unfortunately, drowning is the leading cause of unintentional death for our 1 to 4-year-old kids. So, the thing is, there's a lot of situations when many of these drownings and water injuries, it's the highest this time of year. These warm months where the kids are curious again and they're wanting to get into the water. And maybe it's a community pool or your own backyard swimming pool, those types of things. So the things we got to try and do here is one, make sure everyone of the family learns how to swim, and they're never swimming alone. The old buddy system is still works out there. And if you have water there, you should also have your personal flotation devices. And the personal flotation devices come in different sizes because our kids are different sizes. The little kids need to have little vests, and the larger people, obviously larger ones, but they do need to fit them correctly.
All right.
And by law, they've got to have them when they're out there on the boats and those types of things. So, and we also teach them at a Progressive Ag Safety Day is the old reach, throw, don't go in the water, but go for help. If they have a friend or a buddy out there in the water that is struggling, a long pole, something to reach them, maybe something to throw like a gallon milk jug with a rope on it, makes a great throwing device. And but the key thing is don't go in the water, but go for help.
All right.
So
well, Bernard,
those are some key things around the water.
Thank you very much for these tips. We certainly something to keep in mind. Appreciate it. Progressive Agriculture Foundation Program Specialist Bernard Geschke joining us on the phone from Nebraska.